All right, so moving to the strategy section of Agent Craft. And this is really important because I said earlier that in order for AI to work on behalf of your business, it needs context and it needs tools. And this is where it gets its context from. So when you do the onboarding, you'll answer, a handful of questions to tell Agent Craft all about your business, and it tries to understand as much as possible from you, including, who your customers are, how much you charge, what your sales cycle is like, all sorts of aspects of your business. And it takes that, and then it starts to do independent research on what you said as well. So it's also going to research your competitors, for example. It's going to do keyword research. It's going to understand your space, your market positioning. It's going to understand what your unique value propositions are and your differentiations are. So all of these things are done by Agent Craft, and they're done 24/7 and ongoing. So if you look at the menu here, let's just close the campaigns, get them out the way. Here you can see you've got the strategy section, and the strategy section is very comprehensive and ongoing. So in the middle, I've got my chips, which show me, all of the work that Agent Craft is doing on my behalf, and it's doing this 24/7. So it's researching the market. It's researching my competition to see what they're up to, and then it sort of summarizes its understanding on the right-hand side here. So you can take a look at how it thinks about your business, what your buyer pain points are, what the market dynamics are, how you're positioned. And if you don't like any of these things or you don't agree with them, you can just discuss with Craft here and have a dialogue just as you would with ChatGPT about what needs to change and what it's got right and what it's got wrong, and it'll update it for you automatically. And so as you go through the different domains, we call these strategy domains, the competitive landscape, for example, you can go through here and ascertain that this is appropriate for your business or revise it. But in most cases, what you'll find is that what Craft comes up with is way better than what is typically already going on within your marketing department. And that's because it has all of these tools and capabilities. It's connected to smart agents in the background. It can do independent research. And so it really does a very thorough and diligent job of understanding your business and figuring out how to create great content on your behalf. And so then, the end result is fantastic. So search and AEO. AIEO stands for Artificial Intelligence Search. And so it's, a lot of people are shifting from keyword search using Google to getting answers straight from AI, but you want to be one of the tools that gets recommended when people are asking AI. And so that's also included brand voice, content strategy. The channel plans are also important. These are the channels. I'm going to move to the channels over here. This is where we're publishing. Each one of these channels has its own strategy, and the strategy is important because, for example, if I looked at my personal LinkedIn, people like to follow people as opposed to companies. So in the content mix, it's going to include 30% personal stories and 30% educational, 25% customer proof, and 15% engagement. And so this is the overall channel strategy for this particular destination. But other destinations have different channel strategies. My Instagram has a different strategy, as does the Facebook page, which is not a personal page, it's the company page. So each of your publishing destinations has its own strategy, and they're all informed, of course, by the overall company strategy, which is taking place over here. A couple more points on strategy I want to make. Okay, so one of them is that when I produce content, I want to make sure the content sounds like me. I don't want it to sound like AI. And so this is something that Agent Craft is extremely good at. I'm going to quickly go into the settings here and click on my team and click on the voice profile. Okay, and so here what you see is that every time I speak an answer into a prompt, Agent Craft learns from what I say. And it is constantly refining and improving my voice fingerprint to make sure that it sounds just like me when it publishes content. And so this is really important because nobody wants to sound like AI, and there's this word AI slop out there, which is effectively bad content. We've finally tuned Agent Craft to constantly learn from the voice notes. And so there's always a human in the loop, and the human element is really important because that's where it's going to get its voice from. So that's an important part of the strategy as well. So that's the strategy section. It is really important because this is where the context comes from, and of course this is all about our business. But as you go through the onboarding, it'll be customized for your specific business, and I think you'll be amazed at what it comes up with and how sharp and diligent this work is, and how much better it is than the overall marketing strategy that many people have going on within their company today.